Even though Titanic came out a long time ago, you might be surprised that someone other than Kate Winslet almost played Rose. Yes, another actress nearly got to drop Leonardo DiCaprio into the freezing cold ocean, which is not why we're here, but that moment still hurts. Today we're going to be talking about celebrities who passed on parts that could have changed the course of their careers. We'll tell you who almost played Rose, which fantasy franchise almost had Sean Connery, and more Hollywood missed connections. In fact, you might never look at your favorite Christmas movie the same way again after knowing who almost played Buddy the Elf. Emma Watson. Actress Emma Watson is best known for playing Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter franchise and Belle in the live-action Beauty and the Beast. Many of us have dreamed of being a Disney princess at some point, but Emma had to pass on a huge role in order to play the part of Belle. And here we thought all it took was some singing furniture and an awesome library. To get ready for the role, Emma claimed she had to take horseback riding lessons, train and dance, and work on her singing. Her London-based training was so intense that she had to pass on being in the huge award-winning musical La La Land. Instead, Emma Stone stepped in and won an Oscar for her performance in the movie. Emily Blunt. Don't worry, we aren't going to drop any spoilers for Avengers Endgame. But we are going to tell you that actress Emily Blunt was once an important part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Emily blames scheduling conflicts for turning down this multi-movie Marvel deal because she was set to appear in the film Gulliver's Travels. She had been offered the part of Natasha Romanoff, also known as Black Widow, who was getting her own movie in the near future. The role, of course, went to Scarlett Johansson. To make the situation even crazier, consider that Emily's husband, John Krasinski, once auditioned for the role of Captain America. They could have been a Marvel power couple, but alas, it just wasn't meant to be. And frankly, we're okay with never seeing Steve Rogers make a classic Jim Halpert face. Gwyneth Paltrow. Now let's talk about an actress who did manage to make her way into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Gwyneth Paltrow. She plays Pepper Potts, the ultra-organized partner of Tony Stark. According to Gwyneth, she hopes to expand her role and thinks audiences want to see more of Pepper in the near future. But she narrowly missed taking on the role of a slightly less heroic character in the movie Titanic. Kate Winslet needed saving when the ship was sinking, but it was very nearly Gwyneth instead. Not only was she a serious contender for the role of Rose, but she auditioned for the part opposite Matthew McConaughey. Alright, we can kind of see it, and now we can't unsee it. Some movies are classic for a reason, right? Sean Connery. Sean Connery is a distinguished actor who has made some questionable calls over the course of his career. Like when he turned down an opportunity to be part of one of the most famous fantasy film franchises of all time. And in case you're wondering, it would have come with an insane paycheck. Sean was invited to play Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but he declined. He was offered $10 million per movie, as well as 15% of the box office take for all three films. Despite reading both the books and the script, Sean still declined the chance to portray the wizard Gandalf. He claimed not to truly understand the story, but says he believes Ian McKellen was marvelous in it. Apparently, Sean Connery only appears in movies exactly when he intends to. And he's not the only star on our list who passed on Lord of the Rings. Will Smith. The Matrix may have changed the way you look at the world, but we are going to change the way you look at the Matrix forever. Although the part ultimately went to Keanu Reeves, Will Smith was nearly cast as Neo. And to make matters worse, he had to turn the role down because of a scheduling conflict with one of the worst movies of his career. Instead of playing the lead role in the hit movie The Matrix, Will appeared in Wild Wild West. And if you're wondering how Will feels about it, well, he's not too pleased. When asked about Wild Wild West, he admitted, quote, "I'm not proud of it," end quote. It looks like he sadly lost his chance to enter The Matrix. Christina Applegate. Many of these celebrities turned down major roles because of scheduling conflicts, which is totally understandable. But Christina Applegate turned down a major movie role because of fear, and it's a decision she still regrets to this day. She was offered the role of Elle Woods in the hit 2001 movie Legally Blonde, which ended up going to Reese Witherspoon. Before you call Christina crazy, let's see where she's coming from. She had just finished her work in the sitcom Married with Children, in which she played a less than ambitious blonde. When she got the script for Legally Blonde, she worried about becoming a one-note actress and passed on the part. Although she tried to play it safe at the time, Christina now admits it was, quote, a stupid move, end quote. Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg is an incredibly famous actor who has been in no shortage of movies, but you might be surprised to learn that the list of big movies he's turned down is also incredibly huge. He admits to turning down a chance to be a part of the Ocean's 11 franchise. Instead, he appeared in Planet of the Apes and The Truth About Charlie, both of which he describes as, quote, bad movies, end quote. But we're going to talk about not the one, but two movie parts that ended up going to Jake Gyllenhaal instead. The first was Donnie Darko, which Mark lost out on. The second was Brokeback Mountain, which Mark turned down after seeing the script. Some of the content made him uncomfortable, and he decided to take a pass on the project. Selena Gomez. We know it's hard to remember when Selena Gomez wasn't a massive star performing in front of sold-out stadiums, but we promise it exists. The president of Disney Channel offered Selena a movie role, which is the kind of thing most of us wouldn't dream of turning down. But Selena had no problem saying no. She had been offered the part of Mitchie in the movie Camp Rock and could have starred alongside the Jonas Brothers and other stars. We know, we can't believe she turned it down either. Of course, the role went to her former BFF, Demi Lovato. But Selena wanted to establish herself as an actress and performer before taking on such a role, so she passed on the project. Do you think her career would have taken a different path if she had said yes? 9. Jim Carrey. We all know that Jim Carrey was once the Grinch who stole Christmas, but he very nearly saved it in another movie. Elf is one of those classic Christmas films we can't watch without laughing. It's hard to imagine anyone but Will Ferrell playing the role of Buddy the Elf. But there was a time when Jim Carrey had the part. Unfortunately, production was delayed for an extended period of time. And by extended, we mean 10 years. I guess movie magic takes a lot longer than we thought. Jim just couldn't wait around and had to take other jobs in the meantime. Thankfully, Will Ferrell stepped in and Christmas was saved. Plus, Jim Carrey got to miss out on having to eat spaghetti covered with candy, candy canes, candy corns, and syrup. We're sure he's kicking himself over it now. Julia Roberts. Sandra Bullock is a critically acclaimed actress who struck gold when she signed on to play one specific movie in 2009. She ended up taking home an Academy Award, a Screen Actors Guild Award, and a Golden Globe for Best Actress. This part kicked her career into high gear, and only a year later she was reportedly the highest paid female celeb in all of Hollywood. Wow, we would be kicking ourselves if we turned down that role like Julia Roberts did. She had first choice of playing the part of Leanne Tuohy in The Blind Side, but she turned it down and Sandra Bullock got her chance to shine. It was a risky move for her as well, as she was paid half her usual rate but got a nice chunk of change from the box office revenue. We're sure all the awards and accolades didn't hurt either. Sorry, Julia. Sandra Bullock. Now, let's address a rumor concerning actress Sandra Bullock and an Oscar-winning movie she almost starred in. When Hilary Swank was cast in $1 Million Baby, sources reported that Sandra Bullock had turned down the role because she felt it was beneath her. But it turns out nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, Sandra had been shopping that script around for years, trying to get it made, but no studio was interested. They said a movie about a female boxer wouldn't sell. What? By the time someone was ready to take a chance on it, Sandra was busy with Miss Congeniality too. Sandra's scheduling conflict meant the part went to Hilary instead. Matt Damon. Who could forget the time Matt Damon played one of the greatest villains in cinema history? Well, okay, he played a fake version of Tom Hiddleston's Loki during Thor Ragnarok, but that's not what we're talking about. It turned out that Matt Damon once turned down the chance to play a different villain in the DC universe. Despite being a huge Christopher Nolan fan, Matt Damon said no to playing Harvey Dent, also known as Two-Face in The Dark Knight. The movie was a record-breaking success, and Matt regrets not being able to participate. But like so many other celebs, he cites scheduling issues for having to turn down this part. Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie has had no shortage of enviable roles over the course of her career, but that doesn't mean she hasn't missed out on some great roles. Gravity, starring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, was a smash hit at the box office, but it very nearly had a different pair of stars. Angelina Jolie was supposed to be in the movie, but because of a scheduling issue, she had to drop out of the project. And who was going to play opposite her? That role was originally going to be filled by Robert Downey Jr. However, he had just one problem with the script. He couldn't stick to the script. He's a fan of getting into the character and ad-libbing, but that doesn't work too well when the script calls for a lot of science jargon. Maybe it's good for Angelina, because ad-libbing with RDJ in space could have been a catastrophe. Nicolas Cage. Remember earlier when we said a star other than Sean Connery passed on the Lord of the Rings franchise? We weren't kidding. Yes, the notoriously financially irresponsible Nicolas Cage passed on these massive money-making movies. He was offered the part of Aragorn, which ultimately went to fellow actor Viggo Mortensen, which, let's face it, is the much better choice. So why did he turn down the role? Nicolas claims he had too much going on in his life to up and move to New Zealand for 3 years to shoot the movies. That's actually a pretty good reason, and Nicolas says there's a silver lining to the story. He doesn't like to watch movies he appears in, so now he gets to be a huge Lord of the Rings fan, just like the rest of us. Molly Ringwald. Molly Ringwald has starred in some of the most iconic movies of all time, including The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, and Pretty in Pink. But she also turned down the chance to be the lead in Pretty Woman, a part that was famously played by Julia Roberts instead. But don't worry, because Molly isn't holding on to any regrets. She claims that Julia Roberts is what made the movie such a huge success, and that the role was truly meant for her. What do you think about these actors who passed on potentially life-changing roles? Do you wish any of them had said yes instead of no? Tell us what you think in the comments section, and then click on the subscribe button for more great videos from us here at The Taco. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.